This is the story of a guy named Aaron Ralston. Aaron goes hiking in a remote area where there's no one around for miles. While hiking, he spots two girls who seem lost. Aaron approaches them and asks, "Do you need any help?" The girls, named Christy and Megan, tell him they've lost their way. Aaron helps them find the right path and decides to guide them for a while. As they continue their journey together, Aaron tells them, "I know another route, and I guarantee it's going to be a lot of fun." The three of them start moving through narrow mountain trails. At one point, Aaron suddenly jumps off a ledge. Seeing this, Christy and Megan panic, thinking he might have fallen, but then they hear his voice from below. He's safe. There's a deep pool of water under the ledge, and Aaron encourages them to jump in too. One by one, they take the leap, and it turns out to be an exciting and fun experience for all of them. They enjoy their time together before continuing their journey. After this adventure, it's time to part ways. Aaron has to continue his hike, while Christy and Megan need to head home. Before saying goodbye, they take a selfie together to remember the moment. Aaron asks them, "Do you think we'll ever meet again?" Megan replies, "Well, we're having a party tomorrow night. You should come." After that, Aaron says goodbye to them and continues on his way. As he moves forward through the narrow mountain trails, he's enjoying the hike. However, the paths are extremely tight and dangerous. While descending between two narrow rock formations, Aaron leans on a large boulder for support, but suddenly the boulder shifts, causing him to lose balance and fall. The massive rock he was holding on to crashes down on his right hand, trapping it between the two canyon walls. Even though he isn't seriously injured, his hand is completely stuck under the rock. Aaron tries everything he can to free himself, but no matter how hard he struggles, he fails. Realizing that he's trapped, Aaron starts yelling for Christy and Megan, hoping they might hear him. But unfortunately, the narrow canyons absorb his voice, preventing it from reaching the outside world. The area is so isolated that there's no sign of people, animals, or even birds. It's almost impossible for anyone to hear him. Now Aaron knows he has to find a way out on his own. He opens his backpack and takes out all his hiking gear, searching for anything that might help him escape. Among his belongings, he finds a small knife. Desperate to free himself, he starts chipping away at the rock, hoping to break it apart. But the boulder is incredibly hard, so solid that even after multiple attempts, he barely makes a dent. Since Aaron's right hand is trapped, he struggles to do everything with just his left hand, but he refuses to give up. He keeps trying to chip away at the rock. Then suddenly his knife slips from his hand and falls to the ground, just out of reach. Desperate, Aaron carefully maneuvers and manages to pull the knife back toward him. He starts cutting into the rock again, but it's no use. The rock is way too solid. Eventually, his knife becomes completely dull. As night falls, Aaron has been trapped for several hours. He has no idea how he'll escape, but he keeps trying to free his hand. By now, 25 hours have passed, and he still hasn't found a way out. Realizing his situation is getting worse, he turns on his camera and starts recording himself. He says, "I've been stuck here for 25 hours. No one knows where I am because I didn't tell anyone I was coming here." He also mentions that he has very little food left and only about 400 to 500 milliliters of water. As he's recording, he suddenly hears a noise from above. Hope surges through him and he starts shouting for help, but no one is actually there. His cries echo through the canyon with no response. A few hours later, night falls again. Hunger starts kicking in, so Aaron eats the last bits of food he has left. As he eats, his mind drifts back to Megan and Christy. He remembers that they had invited him to a party that night. There would have been wine, music, and laughter. Now instead, he's stuck in this desolate canyon, talking to himself. His thoughts also take him back to the moment he left for this trip. It was a Saturday, and just before heading out, his mother had called him, but he didn't pick up. He hadn't told anyone where he was going. If he had, maybe someone would have come looking for him by now. But at this point, no one even knows where he is. By Monday, his third day trapped, Aaron decides to build a pulley system using his ropes. He ties the rope around the boulder, crushing his hand, and tries to lift it. But no matter how much he struggles, the rock doesn't budge. He then loops the rope around his foot and pulls with all his strength, but again, nothing happens. The situation keeps getting worse. It's now been 3 days, and he has run out of drinking water. When he feels the urge to urinate, he collects it in his bottle. He knows that without water, he'll die. Soon he will have no choice but to drink his own urine to survive. With nothing else to do, Aaron starts noticing even the smallest details around him. He watches a bird soaring high in the sky. He observes tiny insects crawling around, knowing that if he wants to eat them, he'll have to wait until they come close enough. Another thing he realizes is that in this deep canyon, sunlight only reaches him for about 15 minutes a day. After that, the shadows take over again. After 3 days of hunger, thirst, and sheer exhaustion, Aaron reaches his breaking point. He decides there's only one way out. He has to cut off his own hand. He tightly ties off his arm to slow the blood flow and picks up his knife. But when he tries to cut, he realizes the blade has become completely dull. It's so blunt that it can't even slice through his skin. Frustrated and defeated, Aaron records a message on his camera. Never buy cheap tools from China. They're useless. With that, another day passes and night falls again. As he sits alone, memories start flooding his mind. His family, his ex-girlfriend, and all his friends. He misses them deeply. Just then, dark clouds gather in the sky, and suddenly it starts raining heavily. Aaron's water supply had already run out, so he quickly fills his bottle with fresh rainwater. Meanwhile, water starts rushing through the canyon, rising higher and higher around him. Soon, the water level rises so much that Aaron begins to float. Since objects are easier to lift in water due to reduced gravity, he sees an opportunity. He pushes against the boulder with all his strength, and to his amazement, he lifts it just enough to free his hand. Without wasting a second, he runs toward his car, jumps in, and drives away from Canyonlands National Park. But then, he wakes up. It was all just a dream. Aaron is still trapped in the same canyon, stuck under the same boulder. He screams again, but it's no use. By now, he has been trapped for 4 days. His mind starts playing tricks on him. He experiences strange dreams and hallucinations. His mental state is rapidly deteriorating. On the 5th day, his behavior changes completely. He starts talking to himself, making commentary as if he's on a reality show. He laughs at his own misery. He even reflects on the choices that led him here. If only I had answered my mom's call that day. If I had told her where I was going, maybe I wouldn't be stuck here now. He also remembers buying his hiking gear from a local store. I didn't even tell the shopkeeper where I was headed. If I had, maybe he would have reported me missing by now. If someone had known where he was, they would have come looking for him by now. Facing the reality of his situation, Aaron speaks to his camera, leaving a message for his parents. Mom, Dad, I love you so much. He's recording all of this because deep down, he knows his chances of survival are almost gone. He is starving, dehydrated, and too weak to fight anymore. The massive boulder pinning him down has become his prison. One last time, Aaron ties off his arm. This time, instead of trying to cut through with his dull knife, he takes the blade's pointed edge and starts stabbing into his arm. The knife pierces all the way to the bone. Blood begins to flow, but once again, he can't go through with it. Another night passes. On the morning of the 6th day, Aaron is at his absolute limit. If he doesn't escape now, he won't make it. Losing hope, he stares at the boulder and says, maybe this rock has been waiting for me my whole life. Maybe this canyon has been calling me here since the day I was born. This is my destiny. With that thought, he carves R.I.P., his date of birth, and his name into the canyon wall, accepting that he may never leave this place alive. His body goes limp. His spirit is almost broken. But then, something changes. As the morning light shines down, Aaron has a vision. In it, he sees a young boy, his future son. The child is laughing, playing with him. At that moment, a surge of strength rushes through him. Determined to survive, Aaron pushes against his trapped arm with all his might. He feels his bones snap under the pressure. With no other choice, he takes his knife, now slightly sharpened, and slowly begins cutting through his own flesh. Bit by bit, he amputates his own arm, separating himself from the rock that has held him captive for nearly a week. On the 6th day, Aaron sacrifices his arm to free himself from the boulder. At last, he is free. Before leaving, he takes one final photo, a picture of his severed arm still trapped beneath the rock. Exhausted but determined, Aaron struggles out of the narrow canyon. As soon as he emerges, he spots a small pool of rainwater that had collected nearby. Desperate for hydration, he rushes to it and drinks as much as he can, feeling life return to his body. Looking up at the sky, he sees the same raven he had watched from the canyon each day. Today, he is free, just like the bird. But his journey isn't over yet. Canyonlands National Park is vast and unforgiving. Even after escaping the canyon, getting out alive is no easy task. His body is weak, his arm is gone, and he has lost a dangerous amount of blood. But Aaron refuses to give up. Step by step, he keeps moving forward. Then, in the distance, he sees a family. They were out hiking when they spotted him. Aaron, barely able to stand, calls out for help. Seeing his condition, they immediately rush toward him and call for emergency rescue. Soon, a helicopter arrives, lifting him to safety and flying him to the hospital. Sometime later, we see Aaron fully recovered. The visions he had in the canyon of his future son turn out to be real. 3 years later, Aaron meets a woman named Jessica. They fall in love, get married, and have a son, Leo. And just as Aaron had seen in his vision, Leo looks exactly like the child he imagined in the canyon. Despite everything he went through, Aaron never gave gave up his passion for adventure. Even today, he continues to climb, hike, and explore. Wherever he goes, he always leaves a note behind, marking the places he has visited, ensuring that no one will ever have to wonder where he is. And with that, his incredible story comes to an end. This unbelievable yet true story is a testament to human endurance and the will to survive. Imagine being trapped in the middle of nowhere, completely alone, with no one knowing where you are. What starts as an exciting adventure turns into a fight for survival, testing every limit of human endurance. The sheer desperation, the physical pain, the mental exhaustion, it all builds up to one unthinkable decision: sacrificing a part of yourself to stay alive. What makes this even more powerful and chilling is that it actually happened. This isn't just a story, it's a real-life miracle of survival. The emotions are raw. You feel the isolation, the regret of past choices, and the painful realization that one mistake can change everything. The most intense moment isn't just the physical struggle, but the mental transformation that happens when hope starts slipping away. It's not just about survival, it's about redemption, resilience, and the value of human connections. In the end, it proves one thing: when pushed to the edge, the human spirit is capable of anything.